Cause in the past you've spoke. Still I'm not the toad, I'd rather choose you. You, yeah. You, yeah.
You're listening to the best radio station on the planet.
CMR Radio.
The #1 internet radio station.
I'm at work right now and I'm listening to it.
#1.
I wake up with you guys, I spend my day with you guys, and I go to bed with you guys. You guys are the best.
The #1 internet radio station.
CMR Radio.
Hey, this is Wendy J. It's time. Where y'all at? It is time. Another episode of Flourish, Girl, Flourish, the podcast. Right now. On ZMR Radio.
Dear Wendy J, do me a favor and remember that if you're not at your best, you can't give your best. Take it one moment at a time and don't let your worries, cares, or fears keep you from focusing on bettering you. So when you take that time to yourself, sit with her, learn to love her, get to know her, and don't forget to spoil her, just like you do everyone else. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here for another episode of Flourish, Girl, Flourish, the podcast. Y'all heard that the podcast, because we got another V on the phone today, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later. How y'all doing today? This is your girl, Wendy J, your host, one of your many hosts today, that we are going to have an amazing show as always, like we always do. We have great co-host with us today. I just want to know, how are you guys doing tonight? How are y'all doing? How are you feeling? How was your week? What are you thinking about this week that's probably already in your brain, just rumbling and jumbling all up in there? Got you worried, got you just all discombobulated. What is it that you are so concerned about this week? And if you can, do me a favor, snatch that thing out your brain. Either put it on a piece of paper, say it out loud, and don't let that thing scare you. Make sure you get it done. Make sure it happens the way you want it to happen. And do not worry, not a bit, because it's going to happen the way it's supposed to. How y'all doing today? I have my co-host today, y'all. And the name of this show today is And Then There Was One. We're going to talk a little bit about self-care today. I don't know if y'all know about it, but if you know about self-care, if you got anything with it, if you know something, make sure y'all are commenting in the chat. Please continue. Please continue to find us. FIND at flourishgirl.flourish on Instagram, and also ZMR Radio at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Sundays. So today, who we have with us? We have the Faith P coming in the building. We have Breezy in the building, and we got Ryan in the building today, y'all. So we're going to get a perspective from two women, two men. So welcome our other co-hosts, you guys. Welcome. How y'all feeling today?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey. Everybody sound like they on the phone. Hello. Y'all, we on the radio. Calling in. Come on. How y'all feeling?
Feeling good. How are you doing today, Wendy?
You know what? I'm actually doing doing all right. I'm actually doing better than expected. So y'all ready? Y'all ready to just relax, unwind, and I don't know. I can't find nothing wrong with that, but I'm usually good at it, but I'm not good at it right now. But y'all know me.
Relax, unwind, and spend some time.
Woo! The Faith P. The Faith P came and saved me. I appreciate you. I do. Ooh. $2. Where'd that come from? I do. Ooh.
Keenan and
Where it come?
Kale, orange
Oh,
soda.
yeah,
You
I
ain't
know.
and not
Orange
you.
soda. That's too easy.
Who loves orange soda? But yes, welcome you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourself. I did already tell them your names, but where can they find you guys? FIN.
Okay, it's okay. Go ahead. It's too late now.
I
Oh
know,
my
right?
goodness.
Okay, at Faith P Realty on Instagram is where you can find me. You can go to the website faith.putman.
Uh
I'm
oh.
sorry,
Uh oh.
faithputman.exprealty.com. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, give me a call.
Simple. Simple. Okay, what about you, Breezy?
Uh, you find me out here. I'm out here. I mean, I don't really know my social handles off top, but I'm out here. You feel a little cold outside, you know it's breezy. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my.
Breezy around. So that's hmm
Why? Why? Okay. And do we have Ryan here? Where you at, Ryan?
I'm here. You can find me at Magzamar at Bandcamp or
Hey.
RMag82 on Instagram.
Hey. All right then. All right then. So we're gonna get this
Oh,
thing.
official
Uh,
D Breezy one.
uh, okay, and that's
The,
at Instagram, correct? That's Instagram, correct?
the Instagram, and I'm on Apple Music and Spotify.
Oh, okay.
That should
Okay.
be on too.
Okay. Okay. Rep your streams. Rep your platforms. All right. All right, y'all. So let me just ask y'all a quick little question. Do y'all know anything about self care? Do you know what it means? Do you care about it? Is it something important to you? What? How do you feel about self care? Anyone can
Who want to
start.
answer
Whoever
that
want to
first?
start.
Well, I will go and answer that one first. For me, being at the age that I am, I think self care is pivotal.
Ooh.
Being a husband and a father, um, I need to exemplify the image of strength in front of my family. So self care is definitely important. Physical
Mm.
fitness, even when it comes down to grooming myself. Looking
Ooh.
at myself, I need to be happy at what I see.
Okay. Okay.
So I think
Okay.
self care is definitely
It's
important to
it's a
one's health,
priority.
one's mental health.
Okay. I like that. I agree. I'll go next. I definitely agree. I didn't really think that self care was. I thought self care, was like get your nails done. I think self care is really just making sure checking in with you, checking in with you. Whatever you want to do with it, that's fine. Like, hey, I need to take a mental day for me. But if that's go get your nails done, if that means go take a walk, go buy yourself something, or shoot, go window shop. I don't know. Whatever that is for you, I think to just unplug. And when you unplug from everything, you are giving yourself all that attention, care, love, um, no having talks with yourself. They do say now, once you start to talk back to yourself, that's when you're crazy. You're not crazy when you talk to yourself, just when you start answering back. So, you get to that point before you go crazy. Self-care is definitely something that I could do better because I always think about doing it. I don't always follow up with it. So self-care is about to move up in that list for me. What about you, Breezy?
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. The people can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's like Ryan said, it's just it's a whole aura of different things of that nature. As far as the grooming and the fitness and the mental health. At one point, I wasn't big on self care because I always thought it was something like just going to get your nails done or something like that. People always
Mm-hmm.
associate that with self care,
Right.
but yeah, I think it's a little bit deeper than that now. I think I see it as a priority for me.
No.
Just taking time out to sit down and just do what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. So, I definitely think it's big and major.
That's fair. That's fair. What about you, the Faith P?
Self care to me is more mental. Um,
Mm.
I agree with Breezy on that. It's deeper than just, physical things. I think it's more so mental, unloading, brain dumping. Because for me, I can't enjoy those physical things unless my mind is clear. Because even if my mind has so many things going on in it, I can't enjoy going to get my nails done. I can't enjoy all that other stuff. So that's what it is to me. It's more mental.
Okay. I like that. And it sounds like everybody is saying just about the same thing. Like it's a priority. So if it's not a priority on your list, like I stated, it wasn't a big one. I definitely always thought about it. But if you are listening and you have been thinking about, I want some time to myself, or I just want to be able to do this or do that. Whatever that thing is that is going to make your self care at the top of your list, go ahead and do it. I'm not saying wipe your kids, your husband out, whoever is keeping you from doing that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is make it a priority. You make everything else one, make you one. So this is your sign right here today, right here, right now, tonight. ZMR Radio, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Make yourself a priority. Now, today, y'all know we're going to come with the questions because we have to. We're going to go in and out. Self-care, and then we're going to get to know our co-host that's on the phone now. We want to know about certain things. What got you to this point of self-care? What got you to the point of who you are today? There has had to have some type of self-care had to happen, whether whether you scheduled it or whether it just happened. So the questions that we have today are coming from HoustonISD.org. I did use Google, so y'all will not FINE me, but you can FIND me, and that's fine. Me at flourishgirl.flourish. So we're going to start with the first question. Y'all ready? Is you ready?
Yes,
Let's
ma'am.
go.
All right, let's do it then. Let's do it. So the first one is, what gets in the way of you taking care of yourself? I will start. I'll say too many things when you are literally piling things up. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. When you're not making it a priority, which is what we've been talking about since the show started. If you're not making it a priority, you that will always get in the way of you taking care of yourself. So I feel like making it a priority, planning it out, scheduling it right, and executing it. Get it done. What y'all think? How y'all feel about
I
that answer?
that I agree with that 100%. That's actually a part of self-care for me is planning my time for the week. Because if I don't, then everything's discombobulated. I get way
Mm-hmm.
more done when I take that time, mainly probably on the weekend, and just plan out my time so that I can make sure that I have time for myself on there. Because if not, like you said, everything is going to get in the way.
Absolutely.
Well, for me, what would get in the way to stop me from doing a lot of self care? I would say, just taking care of my family, making sure different things get done from my children, helping my wife out with other things, and maybe even some things that I need to do from a business standpoint. But even when I take care of these things, knowing that my family is comfortable, that still brings some satisfaction to me, even though I didn't
Mm.
get to do some things for myself. So
Oh.
oftentimes, I definitely put my family in front of me, in front of my desires and my wants,
Hmm.
just to make sure that they're comfortable because I can shoulder the pressure.
Yeah.
So those things will stop me from taking that time to do self care.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's
Exactly,
yeah? Hold on. What that mean?
exactly what he said. Exactly what he said. Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
I put you put everything else in front of yourself. That probably the only thing that stopped me from self care. But I still try to make time and make that happen because it is essential.
Hmm.
That's essential with an E.
You know what? Okay.
Some people
Okay.
spell it different.
I'm just
Some
saying.
people
Let the
spell it
people
different.
know. Let the people know. Give them a spelling check today. Let the people know. They want to know. Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna ask a couple more questions on this topic, and then we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. We're gonna dive a little bit deeper because y'all know that's how we do. We come in a little bit slower, and then we just I was about to smack, but we ain't gonna do that. So let me do one more question if we could. Do y'all have any questions to ask about self care? Do y'all actually? I did explain it at the beginning, but do y'all have any more tips that you guys would like to share with our listeners? And do we have anybody that wants to call in to explain their self care routine? And let's ask that question: what will be your self care routine? Like starting today, if you could pick a self care routine where you can commit to doing this for the next 30 days, y'all. Well, and what would you say your routine would look like? Share that with us. Cause I know mine will be essential massage now. Now I listen, I know that can be maintenance because self-care and self-maintenance are two different things. Did y'all know
Are,
that?
are very different things, of course.
Two
Yes.
very different things. So that's a self maintenance, but a self after I get my massage, I'm gonna need some alone time because I'm gonna need to just think about what I just went through. My body is just like in a most relaxed stage. I may want to read a book. I may want to go cook something, cook a favorite meal. Add a little bit something different than I did the last time. What
You
does
can
your
cook Wendy
routine?
J.
Wendy J can do something now. Love. My kid ain't fat to tat tat like he is because she can't cook. Cause she can't do something. Now, it's some things that I can't make, but we learning.
Mm.
We learning, we growing, and we showing up. That's all I'm saying. We doing what we supposed to do. So I think that's for me. What about y'all? What's a good little self-care routine that you guys can commit to? And what day would you want to do that on every time? Like what y'all thinking about?
I think
Well,
just having some time. Go ahead, Breezy.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I'm still gathering my thoughts.
Okay, thank you. So for me, I guess something that I could do. I don't know if I could do it on a weekly basis, but just
Mhm.
having some time to think, like literally setting aside time to think in one of my favorite places. Um, some of my favorite places are the library, anywhere next to water. I used to live by the beach and I don't have that anymore, but anywhere near a lake, a pond, a river, just sitting there and thinking, just taking, I don't know, just an hour to do nothing but focus on thinking, keeping it positive, just thinking good thoughts and just seeing what new creative things I come up with. That's a really good form of self care for me because, like I said, it's mental for me. So having that space and time to just be free, not feel constrained, and just think would really be excellent for me.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. What y'all thinking about Ryan and B Breezy? What y'all
Yeah,
think?
I actually have self care just about every day. I don't try
Mm.
to put a limit on it.
Ooh.
Because it's just kind of weird to say, "Oh, I'm gonna care for myself this day."
Oh, okay.
I just
I get
try
where you're
to,
going.
I just try to, make sure I can do something that I enjoy that I like. After going to work and everything else, I just try to make sure I find time to say, "Hey, this part of my day is gonna go to me and me only, and I don't
Hmm.
care." So I try to make sure I do some of that every day.
Okay.
But that's just me. That's just
Yeah,
me.
that is just you. We appreciate you for sharing. Okay. What about you, Ryan? And the people are saying, Ryan, you're a tad bit low. I don't know if you can adjust something. I'm not sure, but let's see if you are still sounding the same. Ryan, what about you? What about your routine? What's something that you think you can commit to that would spark off your self care routine?
Well, for me, being in a different position,
Hmm.
I would certainly say, if I could maybe jog a lap or two, just to
Yeah.
exert that little bit of energy to keep myself together as far as physically, and being able to have a little bit of quiet time just to reflect on my day. What did I get done? How am I living? What does my family need? What
Hmm.
can I prepare for them
Hmm.
if a crisis should appear?
Okay.
So just making sure that I have these things together as much as in my ability, that right there is a good time for me to self reflect at the end of the day. If I could do that on a daily basis, then I think I can stay prepared for as many things that may hit me that I may possibly run into. And
Mm-hmm.
once again, that brings me satisfaction, making sure that, these things are taken care of. And I just say that because I'm in a different position in life. So a
Okay.
lot of personal desires of mine, I have to put that behind me, in a sense, just to make sure that those people who need my time and my care and my concern, they have it.
I got you. And that's fair. That's fair. That truly is fair. So then you jogging will be your time for yourself, and that time to get back and check in with yourself. Because again, when you are self care is not everyone care. It's self care for a reason. So I like that. Handle your business, but commit to it, y'all. If y'all can, definitely commit to it as much as you can and as often as you can, just to make sure that you are taking care of you. Now, we do have someone that posted in the chat. It says her self care routine Monday through Friday in bed
Say
at
her
nine
name.
thirty. Her name. Say her name. Her name is Janae. Self care routine is Monday through Friday. She's in bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Okay. Read for 30 minutes. Okay. Face cleansing routine. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. One thing about I'm gonna share this. When it just takes some time. Rub that shea butter in a little slower, the right way, and
Yeah,
make sure it's appropriate and it's legal. Not illegal,
yeah.
but rub it in. Make sure you're getting all them crevices. Take time for yourself just to unwind. Whatever it takes for you to unwind, make sure you do that. Make sure it's legal now. No electronics 1 hour before bed. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you for sharing, Janae. Thanks for sharing your self-care routine. But y'all know what's about to happen. We finna make
The
it get a
prison
little
routine.
bit hot.
I was no
What?
electronic before bed. She an
No,
inmate?
like,
She free?
okay. 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 Here come the shenanigans. And here they go. Here they go. Here we go. As my real good sis, the real Faith P would say, here we go. All
Here we
right.
go.
So we finna get into it, y'all. We about to get into it. What? Uh-oh. Okay, let me do this. If you could think of a song right now, think of that song, but also share the memory that you have from that song. What's the song that you guys could remember back in the day, recently, whenever? Think of a memory that goes along with the song. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Where y'all at? Where y'all
We
at? On a
trying to
blank right
think.
now.
A lot of
Why don't
thinking.
you why don't you kick it off? We
Y'all
trying to
want me to kick
think.
it off for real?
Yeah, kick it
Yeah.
off.
No, kick it off for play.
You know what? I'm done. All
We
right,
wait
let's
for you.
see. Hmm.
I'm trying to think. I can't even. I don't know.
I would say Chris Brown. Yo, Chris Brown, yo. I
Think I
don't know your name,
say
but excuse me, miss. I stay from across the room. That song, right? So, walking to school late, I used to wait because MTV used to play the videos right before the bus came, like right before my bus came. I think it was right about 8, maybe a little bit earlier. And I can't remember the time, but I will be just a tad bit late to the bus stop because I just had to watch that video, and they always sparked it off when it was new first coming out. So I remember, that video, him dancing and walking in the shoe store and all that, and seeing that woman like, "What's up?" I used to like that. I definitely wanted to be that woman. So that's my memory. What about y'all? And don't hate, please don't hate on my memory, because if that's what y'all gonna do, I'm gonna hate on y'all's back. Okay. What you give out is what you give. So don't be expecting it. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Val. I'm sorry. I thought I was gonna do it right. Okay, y'all go ahead. Do y'all think she gonna tear me up. Go ahead, y'all.
I would say. I mean, what kind of memory are you trying to? What are you saying we recreating?
So think of a song that you liked. You're not recreating, just think of a song that you liked. And attach a memory to it. Like you don't ever hear a song and be like, oh shoot, I remember where I was when I either first heard this song. Maybe the
Oh,
song was from a past heartbreak. I mean, I don't know, but think of a memory that's attached to a song that you liked.
it's a song by Nicki Minaj called "Your Love." So it always used to come on, like you said, the MTV movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The TV show or the little music videos in the morning. It used to play every morning. That's how I knew it was time for me to wake up and go to school. And there was also another song by this group, "Waiting on the World to Change." I used to really like that.
Oh,
Once I used to get dressed, I knew that song was coming. I knew my bus was like either down the street or in the neighborhood, and I had to get out the house. So whenever I hear it, it always just takes me back. I'd be like, dang, like I remember where I was at,
being
how
a
young I
kid.
was. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. What about
That
you?
same
D,
song,
thank you.
Breezy. That same song. I used to work at restaurants. I used to work at Applebee's, Olive Garden, Ruby
Applebee's.
Oh
Tuesday.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I worked there
I
two
remember.
times. I worked there years ago and about 8 years ago and like 15 years ago before that.
Okay.
So yes, that they have the same soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like annoying. Like if you, I don't know if you go, I don't know. They probably still have the same one. When you go to these restaurants, they have the same tied
Same one.
soundtrack, and
And
that
they always
John
blame the
Mayer
corporate.
version.
They always blame the
Yes,
corporate. Oh, it's the corporate office plan. I like, please.
they can
Yeah.
change. I think they
You
can
only say
change.
that when you want them to change, when you ask them to request something different. Can you play a little Jay-Z? Can
They
you
not
play
changing a thing.
Yeah, I tell them
Period.
to scratch it. Oh yeah, they don't play by that.
Mm,
Mm-mm. But yeah, that
okay.
was one of the things on the soundtrack by John Mayer.
Yes.
Waiting on the world to change.
You know the other song from Fathers Be Good to Your
That one too.
Daughters.
I think that might be
Daughters.
one too.
Yes, I remember that too. But I worked at Public, so they played all types of stuff. But um, mm, I think one time they played Mariah Carey "Touch My Body," and I was like, "Wait a second, wait a darn minute!" And then they
That was
never
another one
played it
too. She had
again.
took over. Yeah, she had took over. I
Oh,
remember that.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
I
What
just
about
love me some
you?
Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Boy,
Oh, here we go. Here we
boy.
go. Okay, what's your
If you
favorite Mariah
see
Carey song? Let's go with it. Let's go. Let's
all
go.
of
Come
them.
on. No, then give us one, and give us one, and give us why. Give us the why behind it. Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one. Let me see. Hmm.
We
Hold on.
belong
Let me see.
together.
There's so many, huh, Breezy?
Not that one. Oh, you like that one, Matt? Yeah, that one was cool.
What did he say, man? We can't really hear you.
We belong
We
together.
belong together.
Oh yeah, come on
That's
now.
that's mine right there, Mag.
I think I
Mm.
like the one Love Story, the one when her and Nick Cannon first got married.
Okay,
Yeah, that
I
one was
remember that song. I remember that.
I felt like that one was kind of like real genuine. Like I feel like she really expressed herself on that one.
The
So
Emancipation of Mimi City. I think that was my like hold up, Mariah. Just
mhm.
give us a second, because the other ones was Honey and Butterfly, because she was definitely one of my favorites too growing up. But okay,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
Mariah. Okay, what about you, Ryan? What's a song and a memory that you can a song that brought I guess a moment back in time in your brain.
Well, I would say Dipset anthem.
Oh,
Uh, so, this was a time when I was living in New York City, and pretty much at that time, my father told me before I left, anything goes, and I pretty much saw that to an extent. So when that particular song came out, during that time, Joel Santana, Cameron, Jim Jones, they were pretty hot. I think the East Coast pretty much had the rap game on lock, and that particular song brings back some memories of living in New York City because those were some fun times for me.
okay. Could you give us a little sample of that song? Because I don't think I know it, unless I do know it.
Well, I think it goes a little something like, can y'all hear me?
We can hear you good.
Clearly? Okay. Well, today's a new day. Got the boule up in the suitcase. Go uptown to Harlem. Tell them that I sent you. Tell them it's August. I'm going to November. I need a couple birds. Get my woman. Have them sent up. Call my woman.
Hey.
Call my girl. Have them sent up. Call my brothers. Get my squad. Have them sent up. Please, I see a town I'm liking. See some brothers getting money in a town I like it. I run up on them with the pound and light it. Now it's my block now, alright, kid? He understood me quite clear. Then that thing bang out and rang out the side of his right ear. And I got back to my business, back to my women, back to the kitchen, that Pyrex vision. Yeah, I let that white stuff sit and get hard, get rock,
Hey.
get to the block and pitching. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is how I'm living and this is how I get it. That particular song reminded me of those days living in New
Okay.
York City because anything goes up there to an extent. So
Listen,
I had
it
some fun
sounded like
times up
you was
there.
it sounded like you was up there too now. They sound like you back there again right now. Just up in there. Just in the streets a little bit and then you coming on back. Okay. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. I really don't. I don't think I heard that before. Okay. We appreciate that. So in the chat, you guys, we have Mariah Carey song Breakdown featuring Bone Thugs and Harmony. Oh yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Um somebody said that Mariah Carey favorite Mariah Carey is during Christmas time. Warms his heart. Okay. Okay. Obsessed. Somebody said obsessed.
Brothers need love too. Oh yeah, when
Okay.
Gucci Man got on there, why you feeling me? Or when I'm digging her, I said, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Is that was that the remix? Because
yeah. That was a
the
remix.
okay, because the original one
She
wasn't
was
like that.
she was dissing Eminem. Mm.
Allegedly now.
She
If
had the white boy in the
I,
hoodie and everything.
allegedly, if he was not in the video and she never called his name, allegedly.
We
All
we knew what
right,
time it was.
because I like
Listen.
Eminem too. Now I like Eminem
All
too.
she had
And
to
I
do
didn't
was
even
tell
know.
me Eminem was bothering her, and I would have made him to a skittle.
I don't know. Goodbye. We're not gonna do that today. Because
I
what we're
would
not
have
gonna
turned
do
the
today.
Eminem to a Twizzler. Oh, go ahead.
Goodbye.
Go ahead.
Goodbye. Listen, this it. The show over, y'all. The show is over. The show is over. Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness. I can't do it. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, y'all. Okay. Let me see what else we got in the chat. Toss up between penny with a hole in it. Hopeless from Dion somebody. Yes, wisdom. Sweetest thing by Lauren Hill. I used to like to sit in my window and reflect. Yes. Oh, in India, I read brown skin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But those was during those lustful days, that brown skin, you know I love your brown skin.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't tell where yours begin and I can't tell what mine is. I'm just saying. That song right there. All right now. Little brown skin with you. You know what? They already acting up. Y'all acting up on the phone. Y'all acting up in the chat. I just don't know how I'm gonna be able to to run this thing properly today. So I'm gonna need y'all help. All right. So do y'all have any questions y'all want to ask yet, or do we have any callers that want to call in and just pick our co-host brain today, including myself? What would y'all like to do? Y'all want some more questions, or y'all want to have somebody call on
More
in?
questions until the
All
calls
right.
roll in.
Well, then let's do it. Let's do it. What's
Yeah, to
one
the top,
thing?
bro. Oh,
Oh,
go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go
what you
ahead.
say? I'm sorry, be breezy. What you say? Hello. Uh-oh. Okay. But they got a little quiet on us. All right. So
No, I
if you
wasn't gonna
could,
say nothing. I was apologize.
well, make sure you make that apology loud so people can hear you apologizing.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. All right. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? Let's go.
Nothing because I wouldn't be me.
You know it. In and out like a quickie, right? In and out like a quickie. Ain't that what you say?
Bye.
This
Bye.
is I'm buying. I'm hanging up too. You think you gonna hang up before me? No, baby. You think you gonna hang up before me? Bye. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Do you mean
Uh,
internally or physically?
hey, however, y'all are co-hosts. Y'all can turn these questions how y'all want to. I'm just throwing it out
Honestly,
there.
I would. I got some beautiful feet, but I would change like some of my toes. Like I think I got toes like my
Oh
mama,
my
so
goodness.
I think that would probably be one thing. And I think I'm not need to. I told my dad I was actually gonna. I was actually looking into get my legs broken and restructured. But then my dad, he scared me, with negativity, saying things like, "Well, you're gonna have to relearn to walk again." I said, "That's fine." He's like, "What if you can't learn it? You can't walk again?" I'm like, "You know what?
Mm, mm,
I'm like,
mm.
he go ahead and cancel my appointment. I was supposed to get 2 more inches, so I would have been 6'4".
You know what? Goodbye.
I'm telling you.
Bryce,
Mm-mm,
What, what about y'all? What would y'all change? What would y'all change?
mm.
Oh
I will
man,
change my
for
fear that I
me,
have of. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan.
I would say for me, well, most people don't. I'm a hairy guy, so I have
Hmm.
to do quite a bit of grooming. So if that's one thing that I could change about myself, I wouldn't be, you know, and I could change one thing about myself. Yeah, I would change that. So I have to do a lot of grooming, to pretty much keep me
Oh
well.
yes, I would change the fact that I sweat so much. Like I ain't gonna say so much, but I'm a heavy perspirator.
Oh, heavy
Yeah.
what?
Per- yeah, I know what I'm trying to say.
No, I don't know. It just the word was definitely okay. You said respirator. What's
Yeah,
that?
it's you won't have time. Go ahead.
Please, I
Perspira,
don't.
perspira.
That's
Perspire.
it. See, thank you. I'm just seeing where everybody else at.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
I would change my weight. I would just snap my fingers and be the weight that I want to be.
Here we go. Let's go.
Cause
Open it up
yeah,
because at this
it's
point
rough.
they it's come on. Because I know
It's
somebody else in
rough.
this chat is gonna say something else too, and I think I see it already. A hashtag BBL. So go ahead. Go with it. What would you like to change,
Yes.
say P?
I would just like to snap my fingers and be my dream goal weight. I was so close to my goal weight a few years ago,
And then
and
you
then
got
I got
pregnant.
pregnant.
Okay.
But he's not a baby no more. Technically he's still a baby. Let's just say he's a baby. 5 years old, could be considered a baby. Okay.
Okay.
That's a baby. That's a baby face. That's a baby.
So yes, I would do that, and then internally, I would change my inability to show my emotions on my face. Sometimes
Mm,
I can't. It's crazy because I literally cannot hide it, and it's a problem sometimes because I can't hide
mm,
it on my face. Um, Funny story. Yesterday, or no, the other day, something happened with a client, and uh, they made a reference to something in regards something homosexual, and it took me so much by surprise. I almost like, and I couldn't hide it on my face because normally, you talk with a client, you are, normal, but when they said, I was like,
uh-huh.
huh? Like it shocked me so much, and I can't hide what's I'm feeling on my face. So I would change that so that I could hide it in those moments.
Mm. Okay. Okay. I
I think I
appreciate
like being able. I think I like folks saying my facial expressions. Like I want you to know, like, okay, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, dang, he thought that was funny.
That's
I think
Well,
I
true.
what's
like
wrong
that.
with you just saying like I don't think you should have said that, bruh? Miss Ma'am, I don't
Because
think you should have said.
sometimes it's not words that's needed for every situation. Sometimes you just give a look like when you get at your kid, just like you ain't gotta like go sit down. You just look and you be like, okay, I'm in trouble. It's like
Okay,
one of those type of feels.
so y'all don't know the saying
Hmm.
silence
Hit
speaks
the
louder than
cash
words.
out.
Hit the cat. You know what? Goodbye. Why? Just why? Just why? Oh, why? Okay, some people in the chat said, "Oh goodness, here we go." Yep, BBL,
Yeah,
gastric bypass, liposuction, tummy tuck, breast lift. Okay, all right. And somebody said, "I will not be a diabetic." Okay, okay.
what-
I want You know what? Goodbye. Calf
You got big
implant.
breasts?
What? Okay. And then what else do we have, y'all? Extreme fear of vulnerability. Oh, I would change my endurance level and overthinking. Hmm. I appreciate y'all for typing in the chat, letting us know about the question. Wow. Hmm. Okay. So let me ask another one. What's what's something not many know about you? What's something that not many people know about you? How about that?
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll answer that one
Start that
first.
thing off. Okay. Okay.
Well, looking at this situation that happened with Tyree Nichols, correct?
Mm-hmm.
One of the interviewers made a comment about those jump out boys. Okay. And I had
Mm-hmm.
this experience when I was living in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn, Bedford Stuyvesant, off of Bedford Avenue, Jefferson. And
Let's
whoever
go.
listening to it, they need to know about this because this stuff actually happens. So one night I was on my way home from work, and here's this unmarked car, tinted windows. They just pull up right by you, and the driver's side rear window lowers down, and you're looking at this guy with an angry face. And so I ran. Pretty much you don't know what could happen at that time. And
Right.
these
Right.
guys this guy actually jumped out of the car. I ran toward my apartment building.
I'm scared.
I barely got into the building. I seen him coming. I turned around. I grabbed the door with about two hands. And I tried to slam it into his face. This guy lowered the shoulder and bulldozed the door. He's running toward me, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, all this happening in real time. You got to go up two flights of stairs, grab your other key, open up your apartment door. That's if the
Mm.
deadbolt law is not on. So I'm like, this is a race you're not going to win. So I turned around, I threw my hands up, and this guy is still coming at me with full force. And before you know it, we're wrestling. He tried to take me off my feet, but he didn't. So we're wrestling,
Oh
and
my
then three
goodness.
other guys walk in there, and all of us are just wrestling. And then the thought enters into my mind, get down. And that's what I did. So that particular situation kind of changed just how I'm aware of my surroundings and just how I try to be as prepared as I possibly can because that's really not a fun thing to happen. You
Let me
can
ask you
make a
this though. Did
wrong.
you know the person?
No, I didn't know these guys, and I
Are
wasn't
you
in the street selling
serious?
drugs or nothing like that. Like I said, my father told me when I went, anything goes. So
Uh,
being young, it's like you don't really he never really gave me the understanding to that.
mm-mm.
So when that happened to me, it was like, wow, these guys actually jumped out and they attacked me. And this
Oh
could have
my
went
goodness.
either way. You could have said, well, you should have just stood there and threw your hands up. I don't know if they had a gun on them. I
Right.
don't know what I don't know what they were after.
Oh my goodness. Dang, Ryan, I'm scared because that wasn't even. I never thought of when I asked that question. I never thought of that was gonna be your answer. I don't know what I was thinking you were about to say as you started to explain, but jeez. And I'm just thinking in my mind, they put in the chat now. They put in the chat, how they think it went because apparently they see you tearing these guys up in this chat. That's all I'm saying. But oh my goodness. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. We glad you made it though. Shoot. We glad you made it.
Mm-hmm.
Be on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Cause oh my goodness. Now what I was gonna say for my story, I'll go ahead. Is one thing y'all know about me is well not many know, is that I was messing with my aunt's dog going up the steps and I broke my third toe on my right foot because my behind fell up the steps. So uh
Mm.
and then what happened was I was working at the CAB Medical Center at that point, at a hospital emergency room, And one of the triage nurses came to look at it. I told her, just please look at it at least. Like, does like I broke it. She just looked at it and was like, because, I guess they can't really, give advice or whatever. She was like, She turned off, walked off. I went home and thought I was popping it back in place. And I actually truly broke it then. So I had a lopsided toe for a minute, and then eventually it healed because I kept the other toes together. But since we were talking about feet, I just wanted to share that little moment, and I'll share another one. Some people knows about me, but I'm terrified of grass and glitter. I don't play with those two. Don't play with me. My son will try me anytime we are outside. He will run in that grass and turn around and look at me because he knows that I don't play that. But I'm not trying to rob my son of his childhood because I used to have fun in the grass. But what terrifies me about grass is the movie Ants, A Bug's Life. You see the bugs and all that stuff that go on in the grass. For what? That's too much stuff. So I don't do grass, please, and I don't do glitter because I'm afraid it's gonna get in my eye and cut my eye. So I don't play with it, and you just can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. Once you start playing with glitter, it's everywhere. You will see it later. 2 weeks. It's just I can't. So that's something that you guys may not know about me. Some people do know, but hey. And yes, my third toe is what I broke because they asking, they talking about me.
You need a picture in the chat of the third toe.
Oh, you will not get a picture
Yeah,
of it.
we do so we can get a better better image of what you're referring to.
We got to see that toe.
No.
I actually used to fear, well, I ain't gonna say used to fear, but I fear like people touching me around my neck because I've always felt like that's like a sensitive spot. If you push the wrong thing in or something like that, you can either break my neck or I can just fall out and die right there. So like I've always been like very fearful that you come trying to like choke me around my neck, like no, because you ain't finna kill me on accident and then you still be living. You get what I'm saying? Like I won't let you get that story. So I just be like,
Are you
don't touch my
serious?
neck. Yeah, I don't play that. Me and my mom, we're the same way. You go try to touch my mama neck, you gonna see a different side of her. And some words come out, you would be expecting like Miss Smith.
Wow.
I'm telling you, we don't play that. No, no, no. And it's so crazy because my dad, he would like go to her and like be like, "Come here, I'm gonna choke you. Come in." And she just like, And then she be like, "Don't move, I'm gonna choke you." She just be panicking.
Oh, what is that called? Like a phobia? Is that a phobia? Is that how
Yeah,
you? Yeah. Mm-mm.
yeah. And then
Well,
I don't like birds either. I don't like birds. They can have that. They can
Why
have
don't you
that.
like birds? Tell us what's the backstory on why you do not like birds.
I was in school and we watched a movie called Birds. And it was supposed to be a scary movie, of course. So, the birds were attacking people and different things of that nature. So I'm like, okay, like that's pretty weird, but I don't see birds like that. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't see birds getting angry to attack people. Boy, was I wrong. One day, my
Oh
mom
no.
takes me to Kroger. Well, we go to Kroger's, me and my siblings were in the back seat. So she used to leave us in the car while she goes in the grocery shop. And so she like, don't get out the car for anything. So I was like, okay.
CPS.
So once you tell a
CPS.
kid that, they're gonna find a reason to get out the car. So I was like,
Exactly.
I gotta use the bathroom. And so as I'm getting out the car, it's like a bunch of pigeons by the door. So I was a little fearful. So I'm like, oh, I should be good. They just pigeons. So I was like, yelled at them and tried to scare them, but they didn't move. So I even like kind of stumped my foot out there, like, like get out of here so they can fly away. They didn't budge. At that point, I knew that I wanted no parts and we were good.
They should have
That's it. They
told
didn't
your
attack
brother.
you.
They didn't tag me. They was closed. If I ain't closed that door, I could have been gone. And what actually made it worse was I had to use the bathroom so bad, I actually ended up peeing on myself
Oh my God.
in my mama's BMW. She was pissed.
Oh,
She was pissed. I told her, I said, Mama, she's like, why you didn't go to the bathroom? I said, I tried, but them birds will not move. So ever since then, we good. But you know,
Was
they
that pun
smart.
intended?
They listen, they're smart too. Because I used to park my car at my parents' house and I used to get it washed. Them stinking birds would come and mess all over it. And I'd be like, this is retaliation on like stuff I do. Like they'll try to get me back, like with little stuff like that. Like they literally, it's y'all think I'm crazy, but just try them if you want to. Try them birds, y'all will see.
Mm-mm.
You'll learn.
So
You'll be like, you know what?
when you said your mom was pissed, was that pun intended since you peed on yourself?
Hey,
But let
good
me
one
ask you this,
now.
Breezy.
Yes,
Breezy. So
ma'am.
you
Yes,
you
ma'am.
were afraid of them because of their audacity. They didn't even attack you. Just afraid of the audacity of the
Yeah,
bird.
that was just too much courage for me. I'm like, most people, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to make a noise and birds supposed to take off. No, no, no. Them birds like we ain't going nowhere and you gonna have to suffer. And the thing is, I felt like they knew I had to use the bathroom.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that really increased the hatred. Like, okay, that's what y'all want to do? Don't worry. So now every chance I get me a 10 piece and I'm sticking it to them.
Oh my goodness, I'm
I'm
done.
I
sticking
got a question though. I got a
yes,
question.
yes, ma'am.
Would you consider coming to Putman Organic Farm and fighting your fear and holding a chicken and us posting it on this chat so that you can encourage somebody else to conquer their fears. How about that?
Listen, listen.
Come on,
I want to
Breezy. You
keep
come
I want to
on.
keep my underwear clean. I want I want to keep my sanity.
Come on,
And
Breezy.
he said
Look,
he want to come out alive. He want to come out alive.
Listen,
Faith.
what about a baby chick, Breezy? What about a
look,
baby chick?
they got them
Hold
little
the baby
beady
chick.
eyes. They got them little beady eyes too. Be seeing through me, knowing I'm scared. I don't like that. That's just too much.
Wait a second.
That is
Wait a
too much. Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you.
second.
I'm telling you, it's too
I
much.
can't breathe. That's a problem. Go ahead and do it. You might as well. You know, you talk a lot of junk. You
Who?
breezy. You talk a lot of junk. I think the people would like to see that. I think. I really
You
do.
can encourage many people, Breezy, like, oh, he faced his
You know,
fear. Let
like
me
the
face
Moist
mine.
show. Remember on the Moist show, they used to have they like the people.
See,
They
see,
like
the
we
thing
had
is,
plastic forks backstage, and they
like, see, I'll be just like them people. I just take off screaming and hollering. See, the thing is, though, Faith, I tried to face my fears one day. I was like, you know what? I said, let me just go out here and try and see what's going on. Let me really, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I walked up on some of the geeks or whatever. I was like, hey, y'all get out of here. And them things didn't move. I said, okay. That's fine. Mind you, I was in my car though. I was like,
You were
hey,
in the car.
yeah, I was in the car looking out my window. I said, hey, y'all get out of
You made
here.
it sound like you walked up on you.
No, no, I'm not suicidal.
Right,
Ooh
they're not
wee.
gonna hurt you unless they have a nest nearby. Those geese would not. Well, I can't guarantee they wouldn't hurt you, but it's not
Man,
a good
this
chance unless the baby's with there.
this is this
Wait,
is
you
when
ain't
I
never fed
knew
ducks? You've never went to a lake, fed ducks? I fed ducks before, and literally, you give them the bread. Them little things. They keep coming closer and closer and closer, as opposed to you throwing it far, throwing it closer to you, and they listen. They come out of nowhere. So I get it. I
the
wouldn't put
thing
that at the top of
is
my list though.
I would have been good had they moved at the sound of my voice, but they didn't. I was like, okay. I honked the horn. I rolled up on them and honked the horn. Said, "Hey, y'all get out of here!" They didn't even budge. I said, "You know what?" I said, "They're so far gone on trying to terrorize me that they can't even think straight." So at that point, I said, "We good. Don't even worry about it."
Nah.
Where did you go? Where did you go with these geese?
I was in the driveway.
Okay,
They knew
you
what
messing with the
he
wrong
is.
stuff. You messing with residential
That's what he. You know what? That's what he
and,
get.
and
That's what
residential
he
geese.
get.
And my mama, I had to call my mama and tell her to come out there with her little broom. And when they didn't move for my mama, you know what? That's another thing. So it was a time the geese were just taking over the house. Like I said, they're trying to terrorize me. So they know, like, hey, we outside. So when you come out here to walk to your car, you gonna see us. My mama went out there. I told her, I said, Mama, don't go out there without a weapon, some backup. Like, it's not what you thinking. She goes out there with I'm gonna find the video. She goes out there with a broomstick to try to make them like go and move. And they started like coming towards her. She took off running the house, called me and said, I see what you're talking about now. I said, oh, now folks believe us. I told you about them birds. I said, I told you, and you didn't
Done.
believe.
Done.
Yep.
Breezy, you
Yeah.
gotta come on now.
Come on,
You
let
got to
let
come
us set it
on.
up. It's a field trip. Set it up, but let the kids be there with you. Because I feel like if kids come with you, you're not gonna act a fool like that,
Yes,
and
the
you're
kid.
not
Let the
gonna do
kids
that.
come with you.
Man,
They'll
listen.
encourage you. Just pet it. Just pet the chick. Not even a full grown one.
I might, I
That's
might,
the
I might,
chick.
you know, I might think of a little Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, so it might give me, ease up a little bit.
You
I
are
may just rub
sick.
his head and be like, my
No,
pleasure, my pleasure.
no. Go away. Go away. We're done. We're done. Listen, we closing that out. We're done. We're done. I need. Ooh, ooh. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit deeper. Then we're gonna ask another question. Uh, plan ahead or be spontaneous.
Plan
And I'm
ahead.
talking about a plan ahead. Okay, okay. Plan ahead or be spontaneous. Be breezy.
I am, I'm a 50-50er, but I think I would like to be spontaneous more than plan ahead. Like I enjoy the mysteries of, I guess, what the day brings or what the next thing could be. So I think I would be more so of a spontaneous type of guy, because it's like, okay, boom, whatever I'm spontaneously doing, I'm going to figure out, or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm going to eat, boom, I just jump up and go just find something to eat instead of planning to go get me something to eat of that nature.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. What about you, Ryan?
Well, in terms of what?
In terms of, you know what? In terms of taking your lady out, would you be
Hmm.
spontaneous or would you like to plan ahead?
Both.
Okay.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
actually do that.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, as far as dating, I think I would go more so plan ahead than spontaneous. Only because, like, I will want them to feel like, okay, I can't do this today because he set time to do this. Like, I want them to feel and see the importance that I took in making that day special for that lady. So
Got you. Okay. Hmm. What's your biggest mistake so far in life and what did you learn from it?
Ooh, that's
Ooh,
heavy.
yeah, that
yeah.
is.
It's pretty heavy. I know. I told y'all we getting a little deeper now. We getting a little deeper.
I
Name.
would say just younger, committing a ton of kata and just trying to remedy that.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. Anything specific?
I mean, it's so many things I can't even. It's too
Woo!
much to think about. I mean, goodness.
Yes.
I don't know if I think about anything specific. I think just in general, knowing certain things and just not doing, even before this way, just knowing certain things are wrong and just doing them anyway, just because that's like stupid, you know?
Yes. Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm. I agree. I definitely agree. Hmm.
What about you, Bryce?
It's kind of similar to what Faith said, but I think I would say, I won't say it's my biggest mistake, but I know it's something, a flaw that I've dealt with, I guess, personally, in dealing with situations or relationships longer than I should. Like, going ahead and accepting, like, hey, nah, this ain't gonna work. Nah, I'm not okay with this. Instead of trying to see the greater good in a person or situation. So I think that kind of, make that mindset kind of help with the decisions that I made that were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it's kind of like well, I know I ain't supposed to do this, but the good in how I may feel or how another person or me, me using the excuse of I just want to please everybody. So I think that's kind of my biggest mistake thing. I kind of learned like, hey, some people just gonna have to be hurt. People gonna have to be told no. Some situations you're gonna have to just walk away from. So
Hmm. I
Got
can't
you.
think
that's
of
probably my
like
biggest thing.
I can't think of like the biggest mistake because I feel like I've made a lot. And I really like some episodes back. I broke down, have a mistake in a decision. I feel like I don't think people. I think a mistake is something that you can erase, like you writing on a piece of paper and you can erase it with the pencil. But making a decision, um, I think is different. Like you just made a poor decision in that moment. And I made lots of poor decisions in my life. So I can't really pinpoint one that I would like to share. But what did I learn from making so many freaking bad decisions? Make better ones. So cliche, but make better ones. And when you don't have the mindset to do better, you will continue to make the same bad, poor decisions until you are ready for something different. So I think that would be my answer for that one. But we're gonna go a little bit deeper on that question. What's the craziest thing you've ever done, and would you do it again? Now that could be something good you did, but it was fun and crazy, just more thrill, but safe. I don't know. Well, thrill but safe that can't be the same. But um, what's the craziest thing you've done, and would you do it again?
I don't know the craziest thing I've ever done. One crazy thing I did was rode this roller coaster, and yeah, would
Yeah.
not do that again. I'm too old. I don't even know how they got me on it the first time because I was not one of those people like, yes, let's ride the roller coaster. No, I would be walking around playing games and eating, but I got on this roller coaster for some reason, and yeah, would not do that again.
Hmm.
I'm gonna use crazy in a good terminology here. I think for me, the
Okay.
craziest thing I've ever done was going to St. Martin. That was a really, really good time. I'm the type of
Mhm.
person I don't like plane flights,
Oh
but I was
wow.
convinced this time to go, and I had a blast. I don't regret anything from that trip that I've taken, and I would do it again.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Shouts out to May. I like that.
Hmm. What about you,
Mhm.
Brice?
What about you?
Uh, I don't know, cause I'm still living, so
You know what?
I got time. Look,
This listen, this show was over right at 8:03 because he started right at 8:03. So okay.
no, I would say probably the craziest thing I've done. I would consider crazy. It was sneaking out my parents' house and going to different colleges like for performances. Like I was a community rapper, I would say, and it was like different schools. Well, my friends were at different schools, and like they were like popular kids, so they was always big on hosting the parties and events and different things like that. And the nights that it would be like a Friday night or a Saturday night, and I used to have to like shoot down there and come back, be ready for service and different things of that nature. And I was like, this is crazy. I wouldn't do it again, but it was a crazy experience. A whole lot could have went wrong, but it was definitely something I was just like, dang, like I do remember that. So it's something I laugh about, pretty often. Like, man, my parents wouldn't even know I would have been a mega superstar on world tours, coming home from school acting like nothing happened. So that's probably my biggest thing.
All right, well, y'all ready for mine? She got plenty of those stories. So the craziest thing that I've done, well, one of the many dumb craziest things I've ever done, I added an extra word, was I had one of my friends back in the day. We drove 6 hours to University of Louisville because she was dating a football player. The man was not answering the phone and she was over it. She had called my phone and said, "Ma'am, let's go. That's it. He not answering. I know he cheating. I'm tired. I'm upset. I'm pissed. Let's go." 6 hours. 6 hours packed up that night. 6 hours. Didn't get there to almost like wee hours in the morning. 3, 4. 3, 4 o'clock. Um, got there. He would not answer the door. So me, I just sat back. Went back into the car and sat back down. And he did not have anyone in his room. But however, she did later find out that he had been cheating. But my old retarded behind hopped up in that car to ride with her 6 hours just to find out that at that moment he was not cheating on you, but later on he was cheating on you. She just didn't catch him in that moment. That was a waste of my time. Yes, that did show, I got your back, but at the same time, that is time that I cannot get back. Okay. That is not time that I can get back. So one of the craziest things, I was ready to fight the dude too, because I was ready to fight the girl too. Because whoever was in that room that got my friend mad at that moment, I was ready. Whatever it was, I was ready. So she will not do that again. Of course, she is different. She is brand spanking new. We can't do that no more. But that is one of the craziest things that I've done. Would I ever do it again? Like I said, no, I would not. No, I will now change what I'm crazy about. There y'all go. And y'all probably gonna hear my son being playing the drum again, as he always does. He gonna be a co-host soon, sometime too. But we're gonna close that door. But yeah, let me see what y'all saying in the chat. What's the craziest thing that y'all have ever did before, and would you ever do it again? Somebody said, "Oh, it was a good one." Hold on, let me find it. Craziest thing I ever done. This is from Lady P, one of our co-hosts from, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago. So that means you need to come on back because it's getting a little old, Lady P. She left her job, packed up my truck with a 3-year-old, and moved from Colorado to Georgia in the depth of winter, driving through the mountains in rain and light snow, and drove for 2 days to get down to Georgia to save her soul. Yes, she would do it again. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you for sharing that. Let's see. Oh, somebody said they gave birth in the car. She said she ain't gonna hold us. She said she would do it again. Okay. Wow, these stories are kind of crazy. Mm. Okay. Somebody said, how do they call into the show? How you call into the show is jump on ZMR chat radio or ZMR radio chat side. And then go ahead, kick the door in and let us know what question are you actually answering to. But thanks for tuning in, you guys. Let's see. All right. So that's all we have in the chat. Y'all ready for the next question, or do y'all want to ask the listeners a question? What y'all thinking about? Y'all can go into it. Y'all see where we going though. We going into
Right
self and
here.
what we did in the past and some things. What would y'all hear? We have a caller.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Oh, we doing all right. What's your name?
I am the one, the only, the love doctor calling in the show.
Oh my goodness, the love doctor. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And it sounds like y'all need my help. Sound like a lot of y'all out here misguided, misleaded. And I just want to call in,
Oh my
see what I
goodness.
can do to help y'all
Well,
out. Sound
got
like
the
y'all
people
talking
right
about.
then. Got the
Sound
people
like
right.
that's what I'm here. That's what I'm here.
Well, let's
I'm here
go.
for a limited time only. What areas that you seem to have trouble in and seem to need help in?
You know what? See, hold on. Who are you addressing that question to, sir?
I'm
Love
addressing
doctor.
I'm addressing anyone under the sound of my voice who's in need of help.
Okay. So repeat your question one more time, please, so
Are you
everybody can
not
Well,
supposed to
hear.
be on the phone? You whispering? What's that?
no, this is my after hours quiet storm voice.
Have mercy.
This is the quiet storm. It's quiet storm. But what I heard is I heard someone say that they were sneaking out performing all over these different college campuses. Is that correct?
Indeed.
You know what that's called? That is called a cap. That's what that's called. That's called a cap.
What?
I'm trying to stay hip to these young people. That's called a cap right there. There's
A
nowhere in the world
cat.
you were sneaking over all these college countries and all these college performing on stages as a rap.
I
There's
don't
nowhere
think
you were
that's what he
doing
No,
that.
said. Hold
that's
on, the
not.
love
See,
doctor.
see,
You was performing at
Love
college
Doctor
campuses.
needs a doctor.
Ooh.
Go ahead. I'm gonna give you an
Needs a
opportunity to clean it
doctor.
up. Go ahead and clarify. Go ahead and
No,
retract your statement and re-clarify.
those who heard understood. Now you wanted
Mm-hmm.
to hear what you wanted,
Mm.
doctor.
Mm.
Physician, heal thyself.
Mm.
That's in a little book I wrote. Physician, heal
So
thyself.
so I'm also pretty I'm also pretty sure that I misheard someone else say that they was on the road traveling 6 hours to a college to go and
Mhm.
catch up with one of their friends trying to cheat.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I misheard that too, then.
You ain't miss it. That's exactly what happened. 6 hours. Mm-hmm.
See
So
what I
so
hear.
so
What I
so
hear.
the love doctor. We gonna stop you there, the love doctor. We appreciate you for calling in, the love doctor, to Flourish Girl Flourish, the podcast with Wendy J and our wonderful co-host. Now the question was, what's the craziest thing that you've done and would you do it again? Go ahead and answer that question for us, love doctor.
I'm not gonna say that on the recorded line.
All right, then. Well, thank you so much for calling in, the love doctor. Is
I
there anyone
appreciate
else that would
y'all, and I
like
want
to
to
answer the
support what it is that
question?
you're doing. I appreciate
Thank
what y'all doing. I appreciate the
you.
opportunity to listen into the show. I recently found out that you also on Spotify, so I definitely want to
Yes.
support you, encourage you on the Flourish Girl Flourish, whatever y'all can do. I appreciate what it is that you're doing.
Oh, thank you
Your
so much.
inspiration. I just wanted to call in and support because I know you do support a lot of my endeavors, and I just wanted to call in and support y'all. So I
Hit
admire
the
everything that y'all
cash
doing.
out.
Hit the
Hit the
cash
cash
out.
out. You
That's
gotta
right. What is
I
y'all
didn't even
cash
trademark
out?
listen.
Matter
We
of
don't
fact, what is
have
y'all
one, so
cash
don't
out?
worry.
you gotta
Oh, y'all don't have
trademark
one.
that. You gotta trademark that, love doctor.
Appreciate it. I appreciate all y'all do, and for all those people who listen in, I don't know. Is this also on broadcast on YouTube? Let
This
y'all
is
YouTube listeners
broadcast
know. They can,
worldwide. Can you say
absolutely
worldwide?
Well, look,
worldwide.
look, the love doctor,
We're
the love
So
doctor.
everywhere.
Could you do me a favor though? Could you answer this next question? Could you just answer one question for us, please?
yeah, I will do that. But before I answer that one question, I just want to let all the viewers know that check out the official Breezy. He has a song called "Show Out." That's definitely one of my favorites or whatever. So y'all check him out
Okay.
on Bandcamp.
Okay.
I never knew
Have
that.
Alicia.
Yeah.
Alicia also has a
Wendy
really
J.
nice song.
Wendy J.
I'm so
She does. Yes.
Wendy. Oh, Wendy J is your name. Okay.
Yeah.
Wendy J.
Okay. What the?
Wendy J. Wendy J has an awesome song. As a matter of fact, she just did a live performance, and I had an opportunity to sit backstage and watch her perform live. She did an
Oh.
outstanding job. What was the name of that song? I don't know the exact name of it, but it's one you just performed last Shabbat Yom.
Food for you.
Fool for you. You know how many women have told me that. It been, I've been a
Oh.
fool for me. Oh yeah.
Uh-oh. Here
Oh
we
yeah.
go.
That
Here
one
we
right
go.
there. When I heard you say that, when I heard you say that, I say, oh, I know what that mean right there. You know how many women
Okay.
have told me that.
No,
Oh
we're gonna
yeah.
spill
Oh
it.
yeah.
Look, we're gonna spill this over to the next question, the love doctor. What have you been a fool for before you've been a fool for? Yeah. What have you been a fool for? Who, what, and why?
In all the different area categories, I've been a fool as far as some of my employers. I would say one of the biggest things that I've done is I actually bought into the dream of thinking I can start off working for an employer, on the bottom and working my way up to being the CEO of the company. I think that was the biggest foolish things that I did because it was all a
Oh
dream, it
wow.
was all a hype, and it was something that really made a fool of myself. I sacrificed a lot of my life, uprooting, leaving, relocating to a whole nother state, a whole nother different facility. You said you went to the University of Louisville. I actually moved
Hmm.
in Lexington, Kentucky. That's the University of Kentucky. Well, probably about an hour outside of Lexington, Kentucky is a little small town. The small town is called Corbin, Kentucky.
Hmm.
And I actually transitioned in Corbin, Kentucky. It's a city where black people actually don't even live. But I went there, moved there, sacrificed for this job, thinking I'm gonna work my way up. And boy, did I ever! They made a fool out of me. They definitely made a fool out of me. So that was
Oh,
just one, but all different aspects of life. I just thought about sharing that one as far as my work, work experience, being a fool in terms of that aspect.
Well, thank you
different
so much for
categories too.
calling in the
I
Love
appreciate
Doctor. Really
y'all. I
appreciate it.
appreciate y'all. I appreciate the opportunity. Y'all keep doing y'all thing, and definitely much of heart to both of y'all. Keep doing y'all thing, and I support what it is y'all do. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. All right, Faith P, what you got? What's one thing you've been a fool for? Why? Who and why? Here we go.
Oh my goodness. Probably just friends when they're just
Mm.
doing stupid stuff, going out a lot, wasting time, wasting energy, going to clubs and things like that, just because that's what your crowd is doing, and getting caught up in horrible things in the process, just because that's what everybody's doing. So that was really a bad thing, that I was a part of. And I'm thankful that I made a change, and that's not the story anymore.
I like that. What about you, Ryan?
I would say the same thing, being a fool for friends, allowing these guys to pretty much convince me to do some
Mm-hmm.
things that I normally would not have done and get myself into situations that I should not have gotten myself into. Now some of those things, no doubt, I'm definitely paying for today. So I would say, yes, I've been a fool for friends, and that's something I would never do again.
Hmm.
Agree, definitely.
Friends. I'm trying to think. Breezy, do you have anything? Uh-oh.
What about you,
Hello.
Wendy? What about you? What have you
You.
been a fool for?
Oh, I've been. I would say,
Come on, Michael Jackson. Come on
I
with
know,
it.
right?
Oh,
um,
dang.
what? I think I would say, and this will definitely pivot to our next question, but I feel like I've definitely been a fool in relationships. When I actually wrote that song, "Fool for You," I was I have a part in there where it says, I don't care what they say, I'll be a fool for you." Now I know, um, I actually have been a fool too many times in relationships, and I feel like just expecting that person to be what I wanted them to be, as opposed to just accepting the fact that they are where they are and they may not be for you. So that means to just know you, to get to know who you are and what you need. And as opposed to thinking that you will be what that person wants or what that person needs, just waiting around too long, like Breezy said earlier, just waiting, just staying in things too long when you had no business even in the first place to be there. So I've lots of relationships been a fool for them. And why? Again, when you don't love yourself, you don't know yourself, and when you are forcing something to be something that ain't nothing, you are the fool. You, ma'am, you, sir, you are the fool. Do not have these people out here have you looking like a fool for them, and they just taking. So, fooling
Now let me ask you
relationships.
this question.
Uh-oh, let's go.
You said not knowing yourself, so how would you get to know yourself today before getting into another relationship?
Ooh,
Hey,
a
it's
long
getting deep over
time.
there.
There we go. So the name of this show is "And Then There Was One." And when I say "And Then There Was One," of course we started off with self-care, but also the self-love part for me. Um, I had to get to know myself. And getting to know myself meant to sit with myself and be okay with being alone. Sometimes I noticed it was so hard for me to be alone. When I was by myself, I had to call somebody. I have a kid, so my kid's not with me. I'm thinking of the next time when he gonna come back, as opposed to being productive. What do you like? What do you like? If you don't like this, cut it off. Stop doing that. Start doing what you do like. Um, Making peace with my past, because as I stated, I was a fool in a lot of relationships, and what brought me to that could have been past situations that made me feel like I just needed to feel like I was wanted by somebody. Again, I also made the statement of,
people um trying to date people for potential. I see so much in you. I see so much in you that you don't even know that you're taking a lot from yourself. So when you are actually alone and sitting with yourself, getting to know you, going out on dates by yourself, like being alone in areas that everybody will probably be with someone else, going out to eat by yourself. What would you order from a menu? What do you knowing that a relationship is not always just about a feeling? That's another thing. If that feeling no longer, if you no longer have me high over heels, I'm going to start to lose interest at this point. That's how I used to operate, that I thought relationships were just a feeling. Okay, now this person not texting me no more. It's not about me. That's toxic. That's actually really sick too, because you want other people to have their own life. So it's so many things that I can name, but those are ones that at the top of my brain that I can think of, Ryan, that when you're alone, you start to reveal things. It's like the inside of you starts talking so much. And like I said, when you start talking back to yourself, that's when you're crazy. But yeah, alone time with yourself is how you truly get to know you.
Yes, I agree.
hmm And what would I do before getting a relationship? Is to continue doing what I am doing. Is getting to know me. Getting to know me. Whatever is thrown this way, I'm gonna sit with it. Now it may be hard, like, ooh, Alicia, you a nag. Alicia, I call myself that. Wendy J, you a nagger. Oh, she going crazy. How she going crazy? You may nag. You may, overly say things when you don't need to. Just say what you mean what you say, and get out. Get out, move on. And then the second time, you gotta, now you gotta show a person, tell a person, show a person, and you gotta keep standing on it. So setting boundaries too. That's a big thing. And learning how to say no. Learn how to say
Hmm.
no. And if you say yes, be proud of your yes. If you say no, be proud of your no. Yep.
Gotcha. So
hmm
let me ask you another question. You said
Yes.
getting to know yourself. So this is um, a process that's currently happening. So when will you feel that you've known yourself?
I don't think, well, not, no. Ooh, you're constantly evolving. So the old me, I had to get to know that person to realize that this ain't what we like. This isn't getting us anywhere. So then you change. And then you're going to change again. So it is an ongoing process. But where I am right now, can I say that I like her? Can I say that I'm getting to know her and enjoying her? I am actually growing to love and get to know her. I'm actually excited about me, about the growth of myself, and dropping off bad habits and picking up great ones, and um, being more open with myself too. Like, being honest, like, hey, you were wrong here, or you could do better here in this area, as opposed to just brushing everything under the rug and thinking that, I'm just going to be like this all my life. Like, okay, I'm just going to be this person. I used to think that too. Like, I'll just be this person and take me as I am. Nobody got to take you no type of way if they don't want to.
Hmm.
And you shouldn't either. Don't expect someone to take you as you are when you won't even accept who you are. So I had to accept who
Hmm.
Wendy J was. And if I had a problem with it, I'm going to sit with it. That alone time is when you, hello, let's get to work. Alone
Going by
time is
that
when,
lake. Come on, meet
yes,
me by the lake, Alicia, so we can think.
let's do it. Why not? I'm for real. Why not? So, yes, absolutely, Ryan.
Gotcha.
Yes. Okay, so what's one bad habit that you guys are actually coming to terms with that is keeping you from being the best you?
Disorganization would be mine.
Okay.
That's why I mentioned taking that self-care time to plan things out,
Mm-hmm.
just being disorganized with my time and my items, just learning how to get more organized with all of that, because it really does make a big difference when you can organize your time and actually be productive and get things done. So that's definitely a bad habit that I am in the process of fixing.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for me. I'm just thinking about it. What is a
Uh-oh,
bad
Ryan, we can
habit that
barely
I
hear
don't
you.
like?
You're a little low, Ryan.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, a bad habit, my goodness, that I can get rid of. That's keeping me from being the best me. I had to think about that one.
Okay. What about you, Breezy?
I would say procrastination,
Mm.
but I've been working on changing that and getting that done and jumping on top of things. I guess with the urgencies now. But yeah, procrastination was always like my biggest thing because I always felt like I was a person who could I ain't gonna say pull a rabbit out of a hat, like make it happen. Like what I'm saying, like I know I got a project due next week, but I'll wait till the week of, get everything done, and still try to make it what it's supposed to be. If that makes sense, like use my, I guess, gift the gab to get through it. So now learning that, I kind of just like what, if I know something's coming up, I know something's due. Go ahead and jumping on it then and getting it done. With ample time and give myself that break instead of stressing myself out for those 2 days I used to try to cram in everything. So it's kind of how I thought. But yeah, I think that probably be like my biggest thing, I would say. But I'm
Well,
working on it.
somebody in the chat said, I feel like I've always known myself, but I played a role because other people didn't like me. So I pretended to be what they liked. Can y'all agree to that? Can y'all agree that you became I'll say chameleon, to just blend in with your environment or blending in with people that I guess I don't want to say had expectations for you. Would that be the right thing to say? Like had expectations for you and you went outside of your norm to do that, to be that. And then can you say you'll lose yourself in that too? Can you lose who you truly are trying to be somebody else?
Yeah, you could. Like you said, that expectation, the desire to please people and others outside of yourself. So I think a lot of
Mm,
people, play a part in that as well. Like a lot of people deal with that, whether they believe it or know it or not. Because it's always
hmm.
we're always gonna be put in a position to please others. I feel it's just how you do it. Like, can you please others without it compromising who you are or what you may like or how you may feel?
Right.
So it's just about how much you're willing to go or how far you're willing to go to please others. I would say plays a role in that.
Well,
Hmm.
I would say this right here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I would say this right here. And I had this conversation with someone some time ago. We have expectations for one another, but when did we make that agreement?
Ooh.
We never made that agreement. So why am I expecting you to be something that you never told me? So,
Mm.
with that being said, I make my own goals. I buy things that make me happy and I do things that bring joy to me. And, I've done that before trying to please other people. And, that's from getting drunk, smoking, and being in places that, once again, I shouldn't have been in. And I realized all I've done was a lot of detriment to myself when I could have spent that time doing things more prosperous, more educational, and more beneficial for my life. So yeah, so
Hmm.
yeah, I've done that before, but for me, I'm like I've never made that agreement with you, and you never made that agreement with me.
But then I also feel like too resentment then resentment will come in because after a while of you being who this person's want you to be, you eventually you're with a robot or you're friends with a robot or you're experiencing a robot at this point, and that's a sense of I feel like controlling too. Like it's just I don't know. It's just too much to. That's too much to think. I what I've learned is just easier to be me and be me really loud and bold. So the right people will correct that, or the right people will be able to say, "Hey, like when you said this, or the way you speak, or the way you say this is not. It's not coming off the right way when you do that." As opposed to me always feeling like I always had a brick wall and just so felt like I had to be so tough on the outside, but was the softest thing on the inside. Like hard, just hard exterior, and then it just it.
it just turns you sour and just bitter and mad and just mean at the whole world because you chose to just pick up these personality traits or pick up this or be this certain person to people that you didn't even have to do that. One thing about it is if somebody really, really care, love, want to be with, or just wants you, believe me, that's what I'm learning. Believe me, it will be. It will be. You don't have to be nobody else other than yourself. And if you do, that is your agreement you made with that person, and you the fool. You are the fool because resentment gonna come real hard. You're gonna end up hating that person. You're gonna end up hating yourself, and then you're gonna get lost. If you already are trying to search for yourself, it's gonna get harder and harder when you keep putting on these masks for other people. Tonight, if you are listening, you got on these masks, take them off. Eventually you're gonna have to take them off, and when they do, you're gonna have to deal with you, and that's gonna be the hardest thing. Might as well go ahead and do your heart now. Do your heart. Be true to you. Stay true to you. Yep. Stay true to you. I do have somebody that wants to ask you a question though, Ryan, if you are able to answer.
Yeah, I'm able to answer.
Okay, so the question is, let's see. I had it. I'm sorry. Give me one moment, y'all. Okay, so Lady P, would you like to actually call in, or do you want to just have it asked over the phone? I mean, have me read out your question for you. Let me see. Let me give her a second, y'all. Has anybody else been somebody else? Has anyone else been somebody else before we get to the question? For friends, for a relationship, shoot, for a job, like, because eventually you gonna get found out. I'm just saying, period. Like, eventually you just gonna get real sick and tired. It's gonna get hot under that costume. I'm just telling you, it's gonna get real hot under that darn mask. So um have y'all ever been somebody else to gain or get something temporarily, because it ain't gonna last long?
What's that last question again?
Have you guys ever been someone else to gain something that was temporary?
I don't know if this is a good answer, but I'll just say in the industry that I work in, you
Mhm.
have to have that confidence. Sometimes I honestly don't feel that confident. Um, let's say it's a big deal or something, you know what I mean? And I literally feel like I have to act a certain way in order to seal the deal. Um, and I wouldn't say it's temporary because I want to continue that confidence in that air and eventually become that because I do think faking it till you make it can help. So that's how I
Oh,
would answer
so
that.
you're bringing a positive side to faking it. So you have you aspire to be something. So you're actually, oh, is that an identity switch? Is that what I hear?
A lady,
Oh, a late. Oh, that makes
always.
sense.
A lady always stays on top of her identity. So, but no,
Yes.
seriously though, that's definitely something. I think it can apply to a lot of things. Just, like I said again, going back to that self care and using that thinking time to imagine who I want to be. Because I mean, you can always think about who you are and why it sucks and why you're not doing this and that. But if just think about who you want to be and think about ways that you can do that now, even if it doesn't seem possible. How can you be that now? Not just business, but anything.
Okay. 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 Anybody else? Did y'all want to share anything? Or we gonna go to somebody put a question in the chat for Ryan. It's a good one, Ryan. Now I want you to be ready. It's a good one. The people
I
want to know.
mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna go to the question. The question is, it's from Lady P. She said, I like to ask, do you feel that having been married before helped or hurt in this current marriage, and how so?
Can is my mic clear?
Just you could speak up just a little bit more. I don't know. I'm hearing it a little bit low.
Okay, what about now?
It's the same. Go ahead. Let's see if they can hear you. You can go ahead and answer it.
Well, like anyone who's been in prior relationships, you
Hmm.
see where you can improve. And, I would say definitely it helped simply because when you don't have a lot of instruction, sometimes you'll just pick what you think feels good versus picking someone that's going to be the right choice or the right fit for you. So this particular time around, I picked someone that was definitely the right fit, someone who matched my energy. Can everyone hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yes.
So you pick someone this time around, um, for fit as opposed to just what felt good.
When you get someone that actually fits, what you want, you know.
Well, Ryan, let me ask you this: what determines how do you determine what fits you as opposed to just what feels good?
Well, I would say you have to think long term. What are the goals that both of you are striving to achieve?
Hmm.
What are some things that you have in common? Is this someone that you genuinely care for, or is this something just for the moment?
Mm.
Is this someone that's just available? So it allowed me to make a better decision. Having made those decisions in the past, and
Mm.
just noticing different, all the different things such as, how much joy she adds to my life. All of these things are important. Is this someone that I can actually
Yes.
see myself, being with for a long period of time? Is this
Yeah.
someone that I want to commit to?
Yeah.
So when I made that decision, first of all, I'm already a happy person, but can this woman add to my joy? And she's done that. I've said this many a times. I'm happily married. You know,
Yes. Say it. Say
Eh, you know,
it.
a lot of people don't have that testimony, but me just being honest, I've said this a number of times. I told my wife this a number of times. I say this sometimes to even strangers. I'm happily married, and I'm glad about the choice that I made. But that's due to the teaching that I received, and also realizing some of the mistakes that I made in the past. You got
Yeah.
to think long term. It's not only physical. Physical is a good aspect of it, but you got to start looking at the business aspect of a marriage as well.
Mm.
Can I build with this individual, or are they going to tear down? You know,
Ooh, be a
you understand?
liability.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think it definitely helped.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. So, Lady P, I hope you were able to actually hear that. We do have, I think, two more questions that are wanting to be asked. B Breezy, did you want to ask your question?
Yeah, it was just more so, just people, the thoughts of people. How we say, like, getting to know yourself and different things of that nature. If nobody, if I know myself better than anybody,
Mm-hmm.
is someone able to say what is good for me and what is bad for me, or what is bad for you or good for you? Because
Hmm.
somebody may say, hey, you shouldn't drink chocolate milk in the morning. But then you say, well, I drink chocolate milk in the morning because it makes me feel like this throughout my
Hmm.
day.
Hmm.
It allows me to do this when I drink it. I feel like this when I drink it. Like, how do you, I guess, how do you um discern that? Like, how do you get between that buffer to say, hey, agree with
You
what
tried
you're
to log
saying? Like,
in?
do you go with them, or is
Man,
it a
the
more
check.
so of a thing of
I
your own
did do
choice?
it again because I didn't know.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Did you want to answer your own question? That's not gonna make you crazy because we can hear
No, no,
you.
it's not. No, no, it's not. I mean, I just wanted to hear everyone,
You
other
want to hear
people's
what they
opinion.
think about it? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
what other people think about it. Because, like you said, people can suggest things for you and they say, oh, well, that's not good for you. This, that, whatever. It's like, but do you know? Like, you don't know me.
Uh
You're
huh.
not me to tell me like something is not good for me. Because the same
Right.
thing you say, oh, that's not good for you. But then you turn around and say, well, I feel like it's good for me. That's why I did it. Or that's why I
Mm-hmm.
went here. That's why I drunk this, ate this, dated this. So it's just kind of like when does it whose I guess I ain't gonna say whose opinion, but when does it have a when does it not matter? I would say like
Well,
when
I
do
would
you
Mm,
know like hey I'm gonna make my own choice on that.
I would say for me on that particular one right there, knowing that I've made some poor decisions in the past, and I also
mm-hmm.
made some good decisions as well. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to make a decision that I feel that I can handle, if it goes wrong, I could recover fairly quickly, then I'll just make that decision. But if I think it's going to be a decision that's going to be life changing for me and my family, I would seek wise counsel. And based upon what
Mm-hmm.
this individual says, that's pretty much what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
One thing Wendy said, earlier, we're constantly evolving. The things that I know now at 40, I didn't know at 30. And the things that I knew at 30, I didn't know at 20.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good to seek wise counsel, especially if someone, feels they got a good grasp on who you are and how you think and your pattern of behavior, you know.
I got you. They're asking questions in the chat, Breezy. Someone said, Bryce, Breezy, that's a loaded question. I think it can go either way. Someone said, if it doesn't add anything to you, depends if that person has your best interest at heart and know you. And that's speaking, I guess, the person that's giving you some insight. Um, Everything is a personal choice. You are the only one making decisions for you. Even if you surrender it to someone else, that is still your personal choice to surrender. Yeah. So people can give you, I feel like what the person saying is people can give you advice or suggestions all day. But at the end of the day, you have to make that decision for you. So yes, people are going to tell you all day things like, for instance, like you use the example for chocolate milk. For me, orange juice, I can't drink it in the morning. I'm gonna be toe up all day. I'm gonna be toe up, but I love it. So it's just it's your preference. Like at the end of the day, it's what you want for you. So, um, others saying they don't see the button to call in. Uh oh. I think if someone has the experience, you need to learn from that. They answering your question now. They are answering your question in the chat. Did someone want to call in and touch bases on that?
Hey y'all.
Oh,
Hey
can you state your name,
girl, how you
please?
doing?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Yeah, we can't
All
we,
right.
complain.
yeah,
All
we
right.
are doing lovely this evening. What's your name? Who are you?
My name is Sarah.
Okay.
I'm just a listener calling in. I'm loving the dialogue. Some great feedback from everyone. Um, to answer Breezy's question first, I definitely I believe on a relationship aspect. I think it definitely matters to get the opinion of someone else because let's be real, although we know ourselves better than anyone else, there's always going to be someone else. Like I really truly trust my mom's opinion on a lot of things because who's gonna know you better than your mom? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
and when it comes to those flaws about ourselves, we're generally going to overlook that when it comes to certain decisions, and it's always good to have that person on the outside that will bring those to the forefront, like, okay, yes, you did consider this, you considered that, but did you consider this about yourself, and how is that going to clash with this particular decision you're making? So I feel like it's great to have somebody on the outside that's going to not only weigh just the good about yourself, but also, I mean, the bad things. And it's like we all still have those things about ourselves that we're still constantly working on, or we still
Mm-hmm.
constantly either struggle with. And a lot of times when it comes to our decision making, we don't consider that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
Yep.
over time,
Mhm.
as your maturity grows, you do start to consider that. But let's just be honest, like when it comes to things that we really truly want to do or want to have, we're gonna overlook that every time. So having that
Mm-hmm.
outside opinion is going, I think will really truly help in the long run. Now, when it comes to general, um, I think you're gonna know what you have going on. Um, is going to be, whatever decision is going to be better for you when it's just you as a single person, is whatever is going to be best for you is going to be the best decision you can make. Now with what Mag would say, if you feel like you need some wisdom, or just maybe a little bit more guidance in the decision, then yes, then seek out that person that you trust. But at the same token, you have to at some point stand on your own 2 feet and be able to make better decisions for yourself in the long run. Now to my question for Ryan is, being that I honestly think, what is, well, I guess my question is, like, what is the time frame that you think, like, what is a good time frame that you think you can tell that this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with? Like how long do you give yourself to say, you know what, I think this is the person I can trust, see myself building a future with, this is the person that I feel like I can safely trust in them and be able to thrive in life with them. Like, what is a good time frame for that? My husband and I actually spoke about this, I think last weekend, as far as like time frame goes, because I feel like with conversations, people grow and they connect and they start to learn each other a little bit better. And based off of the result of those conversations, you can then make that decision. But I guess I would say, like, what's the general time? And anybody can answer this too. Like, but what's a general time frame you guys think to
Well,
make
the
that
answer
decision?
I've always gotten is so funny. When you know, you just know. And you be like, well, how do you know? Like, it still doesn't make any sense. So my perspective has always been that when you know, you just know. And you be out here screwing up. So somebody else answer that question too. Please answer that question. When do you know? And that was actually one of the questions I had too on the list. When do you think a person is ready for marriage? So let's go. What y'all think, Ryan? What you think, Faith? What you think,
Well,
Breezy?
well, I'm gonna say this. Whenever you make that decision, this is just my opinion now. Whenever you make that decision, there's always a chance that this individual can change their mind somewhere along the line. But I
Mhm.
would say I'll give an individual maybe a year and a half. You don't want to waste anybody's time. You don't want to waste your time as well. I like to watch patterns of behaviors. If you said you're going to do something, I want to see if you can accomplish it, or you're
Mm.
just talking idle. You know, you have all these ideas. Well, I haven't seen anything come to fruition. I like to see an individual grow over time. That lets me know about their work ethic. You know,
Mhm.
and I'm talking about just during the dating process. Because folks will say whatever they need to say just to seal a deal. And when it's time to perform, that's when you're gonna see what you got. You understand what I'm saying? So I would say maybe a year to a year and a half, because that's a good amount of time to see if a person can actually follow through on what they're saying.
Mm. Okay, that was good. That was a good one. What about you, Faith? You have anything, any input?
I don't really have a minimum time frame. Um, I think it's just getting to know yourself and knowing what you can and cannot tolerate and what you want in a person. Once you see that, and once you see that this is somebody you can tolerate, not in a bad way, just like the non-negotiables, and they don't fit in those categories, and you see them in various situations and they handle it well. I won't really put a time frame on it. I think once you can see those things, it's good to go.
Mm.
Did that answer your question, Sarah?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I honestly I agree with both of what you guys said. I think I'm a stickler for allowing things to happen naturally.
Mm,
If I'm not getting a platonic feeling, and that goes for relationships, that goes for friendships, that goes for just things in general. Like if I'm not getting that platonic feeling from it, I'm just gonna leave it alone and just allow time to happen, because I feel like when things are forced, it makes it more awkward, for both parties. And it's, whether that party was the one to assert their interaction between,
mm,
you and whoever. But it's like, if it's not going to happen naturally, and we're not going to flow in our conversation, and we're not going to flow in our friendship or our day-to-day lives, it's
mhm.
like it's maybe, I'm not saying that I'm not going to fool with you, but maybe it's just not our season right now.
Yeah.
And let's not try to push it and ruin when that season comes around by forcing something right now that's just not ready to happen. So
Mm, mm, mm. Hmm. Okay.
What about Andy? What do you think?
As I stated before, I used to get that advice all the time, is that when you know. But now I feel like I definitely agree with Ryan. When you put something out your mouth, like, yeah, you say, you ready, like, say for instance, say, yeah, you say you ready for me, but also, how are you treating yourself? How are you treating yourself? And giving that person that time to be able to show themselves, I guess. You can't just say, okay, after 1 week, I don't, nope, they're not going to be fit, as opposed to, if they just doing some crazy stuff now, then yes. But I wouldn't really give it. Ooh, ooh. Ryan said a year. I'm kind of like, well, you get to see that person in all the seasons. You get to see them. I need to be able to see you when you're broke, when you ain't got no money, when you got some money, when you're happy, when you're sad. I need to be able to see. I want to be able to see all of that. And that may be not realistic to some people, but for me, I want to be able to see you. I want to see who you are, at least in your changes. Like, how are you when you just not feeling like talking today? How are you when you are your happy self? How are you when you feel like you're being misunderstood? Or how do you take correction? How are you with someone else telling you what to do? Or I just want to see that. I need to be able to see that. So as far as the time frame, I don't have one, but I need to see you in those changes, in different situations. I need to see you in some situations to be able to say, okay, for sure. Do we have any people in the Chizat? Did that answer the question? Did that answer y'all? Oh, can y'all hear me? Are we still live? Are we still on?
We can hear you.
Okay, good. Did they answer the question, Faith?
What was that?
I said, did that answer your question?
I think that was Sarah who asked that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you're right. Sarah, did that answer your question? Did we answer your question tonight? All right, so we have one more question, you guys, and then we're gonna wrap this show up. This was fun, y'all. The last question that I have for you guys is, what? Uh-oh. Did I lose it? Oh, if you could tell your former self one thing right now, what would it be?
Sit down and shut up.
Why is that?
That's
That's a good one now, but why is that?
Just doing too much. I definitely was one of those people just doing too much, drunk all over the place at the karaoke bar, acting a fool. So yes, sit down and shut up.
Well, I
Okay.
think something, that I would tell my former self, is there a time frame on this one? Like maybe 10 years, what, 15, 5 years?
Um, what would you like? What part 10, either 10, 5, or 2 years ago? What would you tell yourself? Shoot, yesterday. What would you
What?
tell that person?
Well, I would tell myself, have a plan,
Mm,
and it needs to make sense. And you need to work to make sure that that plan is executed. You can take some risk here and some other risks there, but you definitely need to stick to the current plan that you have. And at the end, you will have what you set yourself out to get.
mm, in due time. In due time, in between time, you will get there. Okay. Okay. What about you, Breezy? Uh-oh. Hello, we still here? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can't hear Breeze.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, I will say what I would tell my former self. Um, everybody's not out to get you. Everybody is not out to get you. And I thought that for so long. Um, mm, I guess for the vibe you'll give out or the energy you give out, you'll get back. Someone definitely says that in their song, and I definitely screwed it up at the beginning. But yeah, like everybody's not out to get you, and what you give, please expect to get that back. So and not all the time too, because you can be giving love, respect, care, and all that, and that person cannot be giving it back. But truly, I do believe that what you give is what you're going to get back. How y'all feel about that?
Yeah, that's facts.
What about you, Breezy? What's
What's
something
the
you'll tell your
question?
former self?
Don't spend that money on that.
I'm done. Goodbye.
Put it right back in your pocket. Don't even do it. It's not
Save
worth
it.
it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Save it. Okay, okay. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in and also for our co-hosts. We had the Faith P, we had Breezy, and we had Ryan on the show today for Flourish, Girl Flourish. We truly appreciate you guys. But if you are a regular listener, you know it's time for the almond milk and agave moment where we just sweeten and thicken it up just a little bit for you, just to send you guys off into your week. So I have two wonderful quotes that I did find off of Google. Google is amazing when you want them to be because they can diagnose you and they can give you a good old definition. But the first one I have is almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. I'll repeat it.
I
Almost
like that.
everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. The next one I have is the best time for new beginnings is right now. I'll repeat that one more time. The best time for new beginnings is right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Flourish Girl Flourish, the podcast, ZMR Radio, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Sundays. You guys also can check Flourish Girl Flourish, the podcast, out on anchor.com, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, all of your streaming platforms. And I said all of them because she international too, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Woo woo.
We can clap that up. We can clap that up. I appreciate all my international listeners as well, you guys. So it's been an
I
amazing
got
night.
a I got a nugget we can end off on.
No, he didn't just cut my internet. All right, come on, let's do it. Because we cutting off at 10 because we got to pay some bills. Come on.
The best nation is donation. Take that informational nugget, dip it in some barbecue sauce, and enjoy your night.
And this
I
is
got one
your
for
host.
Breezy.
Oh, goodness. Go ahead.
Yes,
I
Go
got
ahead.
ma'am.
one
Go
for
ahead.
Breezy.
Yes.
Breezy, I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Birds of a feather.
flock together. I'm sorry. Sorry.
All right, y'all. This is Wendy Day, your host. And these are my co-hosts, D. Faithy, B. Breezy, and Ryan. Until next time, you guys.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Appreciate you guys.
Shalom.
Appreciate.
GC on the track, boy.
I never knew I could feel this way. Oh, I crave every part of you. Depend on your comfort to get me through. This high feels like I'm floating on cloud nine. Now that I need you in my space, come to me. Oh, how about you make my day? Or how about you make a way? Or hop on display? Please stay right here with me. Something about this kind of free got me on what I can't understand. Be right by my side, hand in hand. Lead the way. I guess you're the blame. I have every part of you. Got me on this path to you. I'm in every word I told you. Always and forever. Mean more to me daily. I'm so grateful you changed me. Gotta be pleasing to you. Let me say this. I me some you till you me to believe that I could control everything. Tearing down these walls, the flies to fall. You didn't leave me where you found me. You brought me out so funny. I tried it, I fought it, I played, I can't hide it. No, you're the perfect fit in my life. Yeah, perfect my love to match your love. I put to my story, and now you were right for me. You're the missing piece to the puzzle, and the trouble me. You're the one I need. Yeah, I won't let you down again. Crawl till you're broken. Your arms you did open, put me back together again. You're who sure I can shame you again. Crawl till you're broken. Your arms you did open, put me back together again. You're who sure I can shame you again. I have every part of you. I'm me on this path to you. I'm in every word I told you. Always and forever. Been more to me daily. I'm so grateful you changed me. Gotta be pleasing to you. Let me say this. I have me some you. Crawl till you broken. Your arms, yeah, you did open. Put me back together again. You who sure I can shame you again.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Big Cookie. It's your boy Big Brice.
Hey, yo, this is Jay Rich.
And we the future, and you listening to DMR Radio.
I know you're gonna dig this. You're listening to the best radio station on the planet.